Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of the sports segment for the Boiling Point podcast. The first thing we're going to be talking about today is Colts at Texans. The Colts played pretty good that game, but since the Texans had Deshaun Watson, he basically bailed them out into getting the win, and that's why having a better quarterback could always almost guarantee you a chance to get you wins. The Dolphins lost to the Browns 41-24. Devontae Parker with 91 yards. He's having a decent season. The Dolphins fall to 2-9, which is pretty good to get their draft stock higher. And also the Redskins won 19-16 against the Lions. Jeff Driscoll throwing 3 interceptions, and Dwayne Haskins had a bad game with a less than 50% completion rate, no touchdowns and 1 interception. But the Redskins managed to pull out a win, which would be beneficial to the Dolphins. Since the Redskins beat the Dolphins move up in the draft. But since the Dolphins do play the Bengals towards the end of the season, in Week 16, unless the Redskins win again, they're going to most likely get a bit better pick than the Dolphins, since the Dolphins are going to beat the Bengals, because there is a very little chance the Bengals manage to beat the Dolphins. The Jets blew out the Raiders 34-3, which was pretty crazy. Now the Jets have a total of 4 wins, which is perfect for the Dolphins. Now the Jets are most likely going to fall out of the top 5 in the draft, which is perfect. So now that's one less team that could snag someone we could use. Sam Darnold had a good game, good completion rate, 315 yards and 2 touchdowns. Raiders falling to 6-5. They still have their playoff hopes alive, but it must be pretty demoralizing losing to the Jets by 31 points. The Panthers lost to the Saints in a close game. The Panthers now fall to 5-6, and their playoff hopes are almost gone. Saints going up to 9-2, looking to win their division. And the Saints barely just won off a field goal because the Panthers kicker missed a field goal himself. Kyle Allen had a pretty good game. As well did Michael Thomas with 10 receptions for 101 yards and 1 touchdown. He is having an MVP caliber season, a historic season for any wide receiver. And Sean Payton said that there's no reason why he shouldn't win MVP, which is reasonable. The Seahawks beat the Eagles 17-9. Carson Wentz had an atrocious game, throwing 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. The Eagles played pretty bad. Now they fall to 5-6, most likely gonna not make the playoffs, knowing the Eagles. Now they have no Nick Foles to bail them out. Russell Wilson had an okay game, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and Rashad Penny had a good game with 9 yards per carry. The Titans blew out the Jaguars, and the Jaguars are playing awful, which is not very surprising. They're most likely gonna just go 7-9, and just have an average pick in the draft and keep on going with their mediocrity. For the NBA, yesterday the Suns beat the Timberwolves 100-98. Devin Booker dropping basically triple-double with 35, 9 and 12. In 38 minutes, Kelly Oubre dropping a double-double. Suns played very good. And Karl-Anthony Towns with 31 and 17 boards. He had a good game. Suns really missing Aaron Baines, which was one of the main reasons why they got off to such a good run. And with him being injured, it could really hurt them in the long run, depending how long he's out for. The Bulls beat the Hornets in a crazy fashion. The Hornets were up by 5 points. A Bulls player made a 3, then they were only down 2. Hornets inbounding the ball. A Bulls player stole it. Zach LaVine picked it up, dribbled outside the 3-point line, and banged it in for the win in a pretty crazy way, shocking the whole stadium. Lauri Markkanen having another garbage game and having a garbage season, most likely going to be traded or released or whatever it is. If he keeps playing this bad, since people thought this would be his breakout year, but he's playing like garbage. Zach LaVine, who was benched by his coach because he was apparently messing up on defensive assignments. He felt disrespected, so he went out and dropped 49 points. And the coach for the Bulls isn't very liked by the players, as the players did not want to celebrate with their coach, obviously after the disrespect they give to their one and only star player. And then he goes and drops 49 points. The Heat unfortunately lost to the Sixers 113 to 86. Josh Richardson had a very good game. Second highest scoring game of his career with 32. Sixers fans are treating this like they won the Game 7 of the NBA Finals. They must have forgotten what it's like to win a Game 7. Since the last time they won, the Cold War was still happening. Tobias Harris dropped 19 with 8 boards. And Joel Embiid dropped a double-double. This really means nothing. This loss means absolutely nothing, since the Heat are still the best team in the East. And not only that, the Sixers aren't even the top 3 team in the East, because they're in the playoffs. Their main guy was Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler carried them in the playoffs, and without him, they wouldn't have even taken the Raptors to 7 games. And then they lost him. And now without him, they replaced him with Josh Richardson, which is obviously not even close to him, even though he outplayed Jimmy this game. And the playoffs are really going to suffer without having Jimmy Butler. And Sixers fans are going to have nothing to say, since they're honestly the worst fans in the NBA. Tyler Hero still dropped 20 points, because why wouldn't he, since he's a future Hall of Famer. The Raptors beat the Hawks by 3 points, Siakam dropping 34, and Van Vliet dropping 25 points and 9 assists. Trae Young had a good game, but the Hawks fall to 4-12. The Spurs break their losing streak by beating the Knicks, and now they are 6-11. DeMar DeRozan having a decent game with 21 and 9 rebounds. The Cavs beat the Blazers by 6 points. Now the Cavs have a better record than the Blazers. And the Blazers they're not playing the way they're supposed to. Last year, they made it to the conference finals and they beat the Nuggets. People thought they were going to be a big team this year. And now they're playing like they did when they didn't have Damian Lillard, and when they were a garbage team. That's how they're playing right now. And if they don't quickly decide to get things together and start going on a winning streak, then they're most likely going to miss the playoffs, be under 500% for the season, and probably trade a few other guys and then back to the rebuilding stage. The Lakers just beat the Grizzlies by 1 point. Now they move up to 14-2. They almost lost to the Grizzlies, which is pretty crazy. And the Grizzlies wore their new uniforms, their Vancouver uniforms, their throwbacks. They look pretty nice. LeBron had a decent game with 30 points and 6 rebounds. And Ja Morant also had a pretty good game with 26 and 6. The Grizzlies have had a pretty easy schedule. I mean, the Lakers have had a pretty easy schedule. So them being 14-2 doesn't show that much. Although they are probably going to make the finals. And that'll wrap it up for this week's sports segment for the Boiling Point podcast. I hope you all enjoyed and have a nice day.